Hey there, it is Meteorologist Ben Peine here on this April the 10th, and we are all in green here today because it is Masters Thursday. It is kind of a celebration, almost a holiday for golfers and golf fans, and so we'll talk a little bit about the first round and about a little bit of my time out there as well. I know I kind of talked a little bit about it earlier this week too, but maybe I'm a little obsessed, so we'll cover that. We've got the green background here, and we actually had to turn off the virtual background because I would actually be invisible, but we are live here at Extol Media Studios in Uptown, New Albany, corner of Vincent's and Market on a beautiful Thursday. We did have a little bit of light rain that moved through overnight. It looked like most of us out by around 5 o'clock in the morning, and just put down maybe around 1/10 to a quarter inch of rainfall across the area. Most of our daytime today is going to be dry, and then we'll talk about a chance for a couple of thunderstorms that'll develop as we head towards evening time, towards sunset. Still talking a little bit about the river stages. I know it's we've had kind of, as I mentioned yesterday, kind of a flood fatigue, and there we go. We're broadcasting, just making sure we're all good here on our my Meteorologist Ben Peine page. Thanks for tuning in, liking, subscribing on my page or on Extol Media on YouTube, and also extolmag.com/weather. Lots of different ways that you can find our program. And I was just going to show you a little bit of something here if I don't mess this up. But if I go to virtual background, and so I popped myself up just to test this out earlier today. There you can see why I can't necessarily wear green, just like in the old broadcast days. But that is a picture that I took right here behind me. That is, I believe this is backwards, Hogan Bridge. You think I'd be better at doing that? Hogan Bridge, and then I'm sitting right now on the Nelson Bridge. Hogan Bridge, I believe, goes from the 12th fairway, which is a short par 3, and then you walk around this way to get to the 13th tee, and then you hit right over my head to the 13th fairway, par 5. A little bit of a creek in the way to get onto the green. A lot of them try to go in 2. You'll be seeing that if you're going to be watching. Let me go ahead and stop being invisible here. I'll go ahead and turn off the virtual background. And there we go. So today, if you're not a fan of golf, if you're a fan of being a napper, if you need a good afternoon nap, it's always nice to turn on the Masters, and they got that nice mellow music. You hear the birds chirping. Every once in a while you wake up, see the beautiful azaleas. It's just a nice atmosphere, even if you're not a big fan of golf. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And again, a little bit of my time there as well. So there's a look at the young whippersnapper back in, I'd say that's 2006. And that's also when I got this hat right here. So if you look closely, there are some sweat stains from those hot Augusta days around 2005, 2007. This was our official hat that the caddies wore. So it's a good 20 years old. Still rocking it here. Going to have to wear it this weekend. Might be good luck, bad luck for my golf trip in Brown County, Indiana. This shirt, by the way, also 20 years old. I can't show below because my belly's basically popping out of this thing. It's because it's been washed a lot, right? That's why it doesn't fit quite as well these days. But still got the green Masters gear. So, all right, we won't obsess too much about the Masters anymore. But I did get to caddy for a couple of people you may have known. Darrell Waltrip, Boogity 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 with NASCAR, one of the lead NASCAR analysts and a former stock car driver. He was a really nice guy. And then Gary Mule Deer. He's been on Dave Letterman a bunch and was at the Comedy Store in LA back in the 70s. A comedian. He's now with the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville and a member of the Grand Ole Opry too. And actually, if you Google Gary Mule Deer golf joke, he's got a pretty good golf joke if you want to check that out as well. All right, let's move on from the golfing stuff. All right, here's a look at my picture that I took yesterday. Again, we're still talking about a little bit of flooding, and we'll get right to the forecast. And then also we're going to look at future radar, look at a couple of the high-resolution weather models, like we do pretty much every day, and look at the chance of some storms. There could be a couple strong thunderstorms. I think that chance is going to be best to the southwest of southern Indiana. Just a small chance for some hail and some gusty winds. Very, very, very low threat. And again, we'll take a look at the ingredients for that coming up. I'll go ahead and put this back up to full screen here for you. So there's the amphitheater in downtown New Albany, Sherman-Minton Bridge in the background. I would say it's a good 50 yards from where the water is now to where the river typically is, as it is way above normal. And then there you can see the top of the bathrooms there along the waterfront and the railroad bridge there in the background. So just an incredible sight. I saw, probably dozens of people out there just taking walks and seeing something that you don't see very often, that is for sure. So here's a look at the forecast today, a high of 68 degrees. Pleasant out there with maybe just an evening shower or thunderstorm. South winds at around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Partly sunny overall, so a decent amount of sunshine. Our sunset at 8:14. And it looks like as we head towards sunset, we'll have a chance of some of those showers and thunderstorms. But a beautiful day to get out inside, enjoy, take a walk around, and enjoy this Thursday. Tonight, some showers around. I don't think it's going to be all that heavy. This is not going to be enough to cause any issues with flooding across the area. A low temperature down to around 50 degrees. And actually probably around 50 in like the urban locations, probably mid 40s outside the city. And most of those showers are going to be south of Interstate 64. And then the 7-day forecast, we are looking at 50 for tomorrow. So a little bit cooler, down to 36 Friday night. Near 60 for Saturday with sunshine, down to 42 Saturday night. So a little bit below normal. Average high is 68, but that's where we're going for today. So it'll be pretty normal temperatures and a little bit below normal for the next couple days. Back to normal temperatures on Sunday, and then up to 74 degrees with some light rain showers. It looks like that'll be moving in for Monday afternoon, Monday evening as a front will move through. So nothing heavy with that. I know a lot of us a little bit weary about seeing some heavy rainfall across the area. It looks like really no real heavy rainfall expected over the next week. And so that is certainly a blessing with all the flooding that we've had lately. Lower 60s, a little cooler than normal next Tuesday or Wednesday, lower 40s at nighttime. Not seeing any really frosty chances, thankfully. And then next Thursday up to the mid 60s. Perry Porter, good morning to you from Borden, Indiana. Thanks for watching. Vicki Berger, hello to you. Judy Hoyer, thanks for tuning in. And Kathy Willis, just looking at some of your comments there. And definitely feel free to comment, put in some questions here. Happy to chat and join the conversation. So real quick, here is a look at the National Weather Service forecast. If you are going to be watching and paying attention to the Masters, this is in Augusta, Georgia. Not our area, but it looks kind of similar as it is in the 50s here, 50s in Augusta right now. Looks like they'll be in the upper 70s today, plenty of sunshine. There's a small chance for a shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow in Augusta at 72 degrees. And looks like a lovely weekend of golf there at the Masters. Saturday, upper 60s, and then lower 70s on Sunday. And good for you if you get to head out that way. So as we take a look at the conditions across our areas, we head back to, I want to remind you can go to xtolmag.com/weather. And I've already published the weather story for today, which just dives a little bit deeper into what's going on across the area. And you got your Ohio River stages published there as we are starting to go slowly downward now. So we've made it to the crest yesterday, and it looks like the river levels are starting to make their way down. I put in a couple of the future radar maps there, the model maps for those showers and thunderstorms heading our direction later on, and we'll see this coming up. But notice this is at 7 p.m. This map here that's on the website, that is the high resolution rapid refresh weather model, and then this is the NAM 3 kilometer at 10 p.m. So some of the models have the storms trying to move in right around sunset or just a little bit later. Storm Prediction Center has our area under level 1 out of the 5 severe weather risk categories. So just a very small risk of severe weather for our area, very, very small. That higher risk in the yellow off to the southwest around Tennessee and parts of the deep south there in Mississippi, Alabama, northwestern Georgia. And again, you can take a peek at the river levels there. Monday, I've kind of previewed a front moving through then. But it's a weak front, not very strong, just some light rainfall expected with that. And speaking of light rainfall, the Monday rainfall totals, if you can see there, showing very, very light amounts. So again, nothing heavy expected with that. And then, of course, You can always check out the interactive radar. Again, you can just go to xtolmag.com and then hit the weather section, or just go to xtolmag.com/weather, and then you'll see different maps here. And then if you go down to the bottom, you can see our interactive radar. You can pull that up completely full screen. I've got the temperatures plotted on there right now as we are in the 50s. Looks like around Henryville 55, Scottsburg at around 51, Seymour at 52, and Madison. You can also pop on the winds and the wind direction. Our wind flow coming in from the southwest, very light right now, only around 2 or 3 miles per hour. So very quiet conditions around the region. That rain that we had earlier today, you can see has moved off to the east. And again, this is that free interactive radar that you can get and really easy to play around with. There you can see that rain starting to slide off to the east. A lot of us were sleeping when that rain moved through. You may notice your grass or your driveway a little bit damp from that rain, but that's moving off. And then we got a little energy to the northwest that you can see up there, and that's going to be heading our direction a little bit later on this evening and tonight, again with that next chance of some showers and thunderstorms across our area. I'm just looking again at a few of the comments that are popping in. Vicky Berger, liking the 75 the best. Yeah, next Monday. It's going to be feeling really good. A little bit chilly at the baseball game, my son's baseball game last night. It wasn't too terrible out there. I wanted some more comfortable sports watching weather. Judy Tyndall, thanks for tuning in. Good morning to you. Good morning, Beverly Hagist from Borden as well. Vicky, are you going to the Masters? I'll be staying in Salem, Indiana for softball. I wish I was going to the Masters. I knew when I was done in 2008 that I may never walk foot on those grounds. When I worked there as a caddy, I never was able to even get my wife into the grounds of Augusta National. That's kind of how private it is there. But certainly it's possible to get tickets. It's just obviously not a cheap thing to do. Debbie Gilbert, thanks for tuning in. And Wyatt Wright, again, watching this morning. Good morning to you, Wyatt. So I want to go ahead and pop up the weather graphics here. We're going to make that full screen. And what we're looking at is the radar and satellite. So again, we've got that one system that has moved off to the east. That just dropped a 1/4 inch or less across the area during the overnight. And then again, we're seeing some energy up here. This is what we call a short wave, kind of some mid-level energy. It's going to kind of attach itself to a cold front that'll move through later on tonight, and that'll drop us back down to the 50s for tomorrow. In the middle, though, we are seeing a break, and this is what's going to produce this beautiful weather today. So I'll just draw a happy face for this afternoon with upper 60s and some sunshine across the area. So we are looking fantastic for our Thursday afternoon. We'll go ahead and pop on the weather model data. And we'll see, again, a couple different weather models featuring a chance of some showers and thunderstorms over parts of the area later on tonight. Again, that's the rain that has already moved off to the east. That was at 5 a.m. So as we jump ahead a little bit here, this is the NAM 3 kilometer. And we're going to push this ahead to the afternoon. Zoom in a little bit as well. So there you can see a little activity out to our west. This is again at 4 p.m. today. And let me move the map just a little bit here. So we're going to 5 o'clock. Notice that it's still out to the west. That means the majority of our afternoon is looking good with the activity still out to the west of us there at 5 p.m. Moving ahead here with 6 p.m. Still looks mostly dry. Looking ahead to 7 p.m. Now, this weather model was a little bit later than the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh weather model. And we'll take a look at that one as well, just to kind of compare and contrast the timing for later on this evening. Here is 8 p.m. That would be just before sunset, 9 p.m. And then I'll stop it here at 10 p.m. We're starting to see some of these showers. This is again at 10 p.m. starting to see the rain moving in with, again, the NAM 3 kilometer weather model. Let me take off the telestration there. Oops, we're going to erase that. And then we'll be able to back this up. So again, it does look like the storms are going to be a bit stronger for areas off to the south. where there is what we call a slight risk. That's the yellow area in the severe weather risk categories from the Storm Prediction Center. That's level 2 out of 5. Our area under the lowest risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center, level 1 out of 5. So again, not a big concern with severe weather. Nonetheless, you might hear some rumbles of thunder and perhaps a few areas, especially off to the, I would say, southwest of Louisville, well, probably these areas, looking at a chance for maybe some hail and some gusty winds and some of the isolated thunderstorms that move through those areas a little bit later on tonight. All right, so we'll move ahead here to 11 p.m. And let me take off that telestration once again. So that's at 11 o'clock. Midnight tonight. Just kind of going hour by hour here for you. Zoom in a little bit closer. And generally, the models have been trending along and south of Interstate 64 for the best chance of these showers and thunderstorms, a little bit drier to the north overall tonight. That's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and half inch or less. I would say emphasis on less for most areas, so not enough to cause any additional issues for the flooding concerns across the area. So now we're going into 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. There may be a little drizzle left over around sunrise as the system is departing the area, moving off to the southeast, but it looks like that drizzle around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning is mainly in Kentucky, a little bit drier to the north. So other than maybe a real early morning drizzle, we're going to start to dry out for our Friday. Our Friday does look mostly cloudy, and it will be on the cooler side as well. Debbie, am I back? I'm right here. This is our debut week with our Ben at 10 show every morning at 10 a.m. on Xtol Media YouTube, xtolmag.com/weather, and on my Facebook page. We'll be live streaming every day. But the retirement from TV news continues, if that's what you're wondering. So let's go to the high resolution rapid refresh weather model. I'm going to go ahead and back this up all the way to this afternoon. This is looking currently at tomorrow. So today is the 10th of April, first day of the Masters. All right, so this is at 3 p.m. Notice the rain out to the west. And again, earlier we just looked at the NAM 3-kilometer high resolution weather model. This is at 4 o'clock. There's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock. So this is trending the same as I looked at it a couple of hours ago. And I'll just go ahead and bring this up full screen here in just a second. And so it's a little bit sooner. So it's got stuff basically along and to the west of I-65 at around 7 to 8 o'clock. And again, there could be a little bit of hail mixed in with this stuff, but the severe weather threat is going to stay low for us. And we'll punch this ahead to about 8 o'clock. There you can see still generally along and south of 64. So Kentucky, a bit higher chance of some of these showers and thunderstorms moving through. And so this is starting to head into the late night hours at 11 p.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And so you can see the trend during the overnight that the showers are starting to move off, the showers and storms moving off to the southeast, and there could be that little drizzle, sprinkly stuff left over early tomorrow morning, mainly in Kentucky. So southern Indiana gets away with this system, a bit drier. Meanwhile, Kentucky, a better chance of some of these showers and thunderstorms. I'm going to go ahead and go back to 8 p.m. and back up the view here. So once again, we are seeing perhaps that higher chance of a few of those lone, kind of isolated showers and thunderstorms that could be severe, maybe a couple severe thunderstorm warnings with hail and some gusty winds. The tornado threat super, super low. With all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a look at the storm prediction risk for our area. And so there you can see the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. I keep wanting to draw things, so bear with me here. So as we look at this, Our area is in the green. That is good. That is level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk categories from the Storm Prediction Center. And then level 2, a little bit higher risk of some strong thunderstorms, a little more widespread and scattered there in southwestern Kentucky and Tennessee and northern portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and northwestern Georgia. All right, so that's what we have going on with all of the model data. And again, it does look like, we'll have a chance for a few light rain showers Monday as the next front moves through, but we have a sunny weekend ahead as we are sunny out there now. Here's a look at the live conditions with the Falls of the Ohio River Cam Foundation there. Go to fallsoftheohio.org and check it out. And I'm sure there'll be some folks walking around checking out the very, very high Ohio River, covering up all the way up to the treetops there along the banks. But a beautiful day to take a stroll. Look at history. Again, we're probably around 7th highest level for the upper gauge and around the 11th highest level, highest in, I believe, 28 years since 1997, and like 25 feet above the normal pool stage. So that is, again, at fallsoftheohio.org, and you can check out the webcam there. The current river level is at 68 feet currently. And so again, just looking at some of your comments. Thank you very much, Vicki. It is a huge compliment. Happy with what we're able to provide here. Angela, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. So we are back to talking about some river. Thankfully, we're not going to have to talk about this too much longer. The shift will focus to cleanup for sure, as I don't even know how long this will take to clean up, maybe weeks because of all the driftwood and everything across the area. It's going to be a mess. We're at 10:22, about midway through what we've been typically going on with our Ben at 10. Thanks for watching here. We are live at Xtol Media Studios in Uptown, New Albany. I want to thank some of our partners who have been helping us out and getting things going. NWSB, Libs Paving, we've got Lions Roofing. They've been super busy with the incredibly crazy start to this early spring. And Weddington Custom Homes, thank you all for partnering up with Xtol Media and Xtol Media Weather. Xtol Weather's, by the way, another page you can find on Facebook where we've got a lot of great weather information for you too. You can also watch the replay there, so in case you just tune in very late, we'll put the whole Ben at 10 live stream there on Xtol Weather on Facebook, and it'll also live on the YouTube page as well. Okay, here are the river levels. As we zoom into our area, there's going to be some improvements we see. So we're going to be on the tail end of the flooding situation. I'll bring up the upper gauge in full screen. Takes just a second to load there. So currently we sit right now here at 35.76. It looks like that crest was at 36.63 feet yesterday. It's a slow downward trend for now, heading to minor flood stage Saturday afternoon. That's the official forecast here from the National Weather Service. That still is the same as what we had yesterday. 23 feet is minor flood stage. Let's get below flood stage, and that looks like it'll be at some point on Sunday and perhaps going close to the normal pool stage by early next week, by Monday. And again, that's when the cleanup efforts will begin. And I'm sure a lot of communities, municipalities, city governments, county governments will have some volunteer teams. They're going to need a lot of effort out there to get all the driftwood. I mean, we saw dumpsters floating, and you don't know what's going to be floating that's been picked up and floating on the banks of the Ohio River. I wouldn't advise playing around with it, touching a whole lot of that stuff, because it can have a lot of bacteria with it. There's perhaps been some backed up sewage in some areas, so just not a very sanitary situation with the leftovers of the flooding. Here's the McAlpin lower gauge. So it peaked at 68.02 feet, sitting just below that now. Expected to go to minor flood stage Saturday, so kind of following along with the upper gauge. And then the forecast goes below flood stage by Sunday. So hallelujah, we'll get rid of the flooding by the end of the weekend. So a little over 68 feet, just checking the historic crests. So 68 was 1948, so that puts us on the 11th highest, just past 1847, and a couple feet below what we had back in 1997 on the lower gauge, just south of the locks and dam there. So again, that's look at the leftover flooding that we have throughout the area. It looks like the rolling fork is no longer in major flood stage. It is now in minor flood stage. So this is this is actually the Salt River. Excuse me, Salt River in Shepherdsville, heading to below flood stage over the next couple of days. So good news there. Let's talk about the rolling fork there near Boston. So it is still in the major flood stage, going to moderate flood stage. It looks like here by tomorrow, and then back below flood stage by Saturday. So starting to see things finally able to drain and get out of the flooding situation that we've been in across the area. Again, a live look at how high that water is. Just a tremendous amount of water in the Ohio River Basin, almost up to the bridges there. So a really cool shot here from the falls of the Ohio Foundation. Awesome camera there. All righty, so just looking over here again at some of your comments. Thanks for joining the conversation here. Yeah, Vicki, I'm sure they will. It definitely needs some gear to clean up. They should wear high boots and gloves during cleanup. And I always wonder, how muddy, how much you sink in. I'm sure it's different in different areas depending on the soil and the structure of the rocks and things like that along the banks. How muddy it's going to get, but that'll be a sight to see as well. Again, I was walking down there along the New Albany waterfront yesterday, and it was a sight to see how high it is. But next week, when it all goes down and there's all that leftover debris, that'll be an interesting thing to check out as well, no doubt about that. All right, so we've covered almost everything, I think, and we'll do a little recap, and then we'll be able to wrap this one up a little bit quicker than we have in the past. So again, thanks for tuning in on this Masters Thursday. I promise I'm not wrapping it up sooner so I can just go back to watching the Masters. But my bet is on Rory McIlroy. He has never won the Masters. He's won the other three majors. And I think, he's due. He's been playing pretty good this season so far. He knows the course very well. I think he deserves to have that career Grand Slam. And we'll see what happens here. But that's my bet. Yeah, I think he's teeing off here at like at 1 o'clock later on this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and pop back over to the xtolmag.com/weather site to check out, again, just kind of recapping the forecast here for you. I'll just pop up the 7-day, make that a little bit on the larger side so you can see that. So today, glorious, gorgeous, upper 60s, sunshine, and light winds from the southwest, and then as we head towards sunset, we'll start to see a chance for some showers and thunderstorms, especially along and south of 64. A couple of these could be on the strong side, a little better chance of that southwest of southern Indiana. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Severe weather threat very, very low for us. Tomorrow, a little drizzle left over in Kentucky early, and then we're looking cool and dry tomorrow afternoon, mostly cloudy, a high of 54 degrees. Down to 36 for Friday night. 60s Saturday afternoon with sunshine, and upper 60s on Sunday. And then gradually warming into the 70s by Monday. Monday, we've given it about a 40% chance of some light rain showers moving through the area with a weak front. So no severe weather with that. Looks like very light amounts of rain as that moves through. And as that front does not have much strength to it, there's not a big air mass change. So we just go from the 70s to the lower 60s, a little bit below normal, lower 60s next Tuesday and Wednesday, and then back to the mid 60s on Thursday. Our sunrises are at 7:14, as you can see on the bottom right corner of your screen, and then our sunsets are now at 8:14. Loving those later sunsets minute by minute. Bottom left corner is our normal high temperature at 68, normal low at 47. You can always catch that 7-day forecast at xtollmag/weather. Just taking a peek to see if I missed any comments. I appreciate you guys all for watching live. If you don't watch live, feel free to comment as well, maybe later this afternoon and maybe later on tonight. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to get right back with you as soon as possible. I'll just let Vicki Berger close it out. Have a great day, and God bless you all on this Masters Thursday. So again, I put everything green because we're a little obsessed with Masters, and I couldn't do my virtual background, which was me sitting on the Nelson Bridge here at Augusta National, because it's the good old green screen technology where I am see-through. In fact, you can see me through me. There's me 20 years ago, and then here's me now. All right, we'll wrap it up with that, with our special effects here. 10:31 on this April 10th. Thanks for joining us here on my Facebook page or Xtoll Media on YouTube or on xtollmag.com/weather or on Xtoll Weather. You guys have a great Thursday. Enjoy that sunshine and those milder temperatures out there.